Well, hey everyone, this is Dave Hancock with Pwinsidertv, here with the man that really doesn't need any introduction, the franchise Shane Douglas. Shane, how's it going?
It's doing good, man. A lot of fun up here in Indiana tonight.
You had a great match tonight.
Had a lot of fun tonight.
A little bit of a turn that the crowd wasn't expecting.
Look, anytime the franchise comes, like the immortal Terry Funk said, win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. It's something I've taken to heart through my career and done pretty well with.
Absolutely. People obviously know you from your time in ECW, right. WCW, WWF. What's Shane up to these days?
Been very busy. A bunch of extra duties going on behind the scenes. Most important, I'm being a dad. Enjoying and relishing my time with my boys. They're 13, soon to be 14, and 9. And one is a proficient guitar player who attends a performing arts school. The youngest is a much better athlete than I was at that age, and so I think it bodes well for him. And they're both a little better looking than I was at that age. So, but I'm being a dad, and I've got some great nephews, and to me right now, after all my time being away and on the road, it's been a lot of fun to be able to just be home and be around family. And to me, that's the most important thing. I still love and enjoy going on the road on the weekends and wrestling and performing and seeing the fans. But in my hobby time, I guess you could say, for the last year I've spent working on something very big, and there'll be an announcement made very soon. I really can't say more than that right now, but it's let's just say my favorite promoter is going to have a run for his money soon.
Well, obviously, we all know that you have a bit of a history with certain promoters.
Certain jackasses.
Certain
bimbos. Certain liars. Certain... we'll leave it at that.
Well, Shane Douglas, never one to shy away from much controversy.
Just a little bit.
Little bit. What do your boys think of Dad being the living legend in wrestling?
They don't give a rat's ass. they really don't, and that's great because my youngest, well, both of them loved going to matches when they were younger. Now that they've gotten older, my oldest son outgrew it about 5 years ago, and my youngest son outgrew it maybe a year and a half ago. But they didn't outgrow it because they were going to the matches with me. They enjoyed going to the matches, the independent companies. They outgrew it, I think, because they got embarrassed as to what happened at the national level with the WWEs and the TNAs, and they just stopped watching. I would turn it on at home, and I'd watch them within 2 minutes, get up and walk out of the room. To me, doesn't bode well when you can't attract a 7, 8, 9-year-old and a 12, 13-year-old. When I was those ages, you couldn't peel me away from the television. So clearly, those companies are doing something wrong and need somebody to be in competition with them. A rising tide rises all ships. I don't want to put anybody out of business. I want to see them get hot, like the Attitude Era. I want to see, I know it ain't going to happen, but a certain bimbo, that she'd finally get her head out of her rear end and figure out how to do it properly, because when the tide rises, every ship rises with it. That means the fans win, the companies win, the wrestlers win, the product wins. There's no downside to that. So other than me wanting to take the whole thing for myself and kill everybody else off so nobody else can have a piece of the pie, my mother, rest her soul, used to say whenever I'd reach out for the second helping, being the biggest kid in the family, she'd smack my hand and say, "Stop being a hog." Well, guys, stop being a hog. There's time for the wrestling business to be brought back.
So, obviously, that's sort of alluding to Shane Douglas being a huge part of
No.
Resurrection?
No. It's time. Right now, there's a kid sitting out there someplace that endeavors to be the next Shane Douglas, the next Taz, the next Tommy Dreamer, the next Raven, the next Ricky Steamboat, the next Ric Flair, the next Hulk Hogan, and they're out there. It's time for somebody to take and put the attention on them and teach them the right way to do it, so that those guys can develop into the same thing that we developed into. It wasn't a magic trick. It wasn't in a drink that we drank and suddenly became the characters we did and the talents that we did. It was by being drilled into us and being taught to us and being demanded of us. I'm excited to see these kids put under the same type of regime that my generation and generations before mine broke into. And what can these kids, with as amazingly athletic as they are, what will they accomplish? It's what I call the good stuff, and we'll get to the good stuff by doing it the right way.
Well, we look forward to seeing what sort of good stuff is offered down the line, and what announcements might be soon to come.
Well, look, when I'm 60 years old and fatter and still got a nice head of hair, but I might be a little balder by then, I'm going to be able to sit back and drink a beer and watch a good wrestling match. I don't think it's possible right now, and so there's a real big selfish part to me for it. I love professional wrestling. I'm very passionate about it, have been, and I think it's time that some of these kids get the same opportunity that we all had that they're not getting right now.
Well, we'll be anxiously waiting for those opportunities to present themselves. Shane, thanks for taking the time for us tonight, and good luck on the future.
Thank you. The only downside of this whole thing is going to be a suit and tie kind of company. You know me, that ain't happening. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Shane.